Shabbat Shalom. This is Daniel John Lee with Torah Restoration Ministries. It is Erev Shabbat. The Sabbath has begun. It's Friday night, September the 8th, 2017. A little less than 2 weeks now away from Feast of Trumpets, Yom Teruah 2017. And once again, as the Sabbath begins, we have our second major hurricane, Harvey a couple weeks ago, and now Irma making as of right now, a dead line toward Miami, largest city in Florida. In fact, they're saying it's so powerful and so big that every major city in Florida could be shut down. They said the greatest mass exodus that this nation's ever seen of people fleeing Florida. 8.1, I think, earthquake that just absolutely shook Mexico. Of course, here in the Northwest, as I reported earlier this week, we've been clothed in ash, sackcloth and ash from the blazing fires that have consumed the gorge. And so once again, we see that the prophetic word that Yah is sending to this nation is He is smiting us and we don't repent. And He smites us again and we don't repent. And He smites us again. This is all in Isaiah chapter 9. He is very upset with this nation. And mostly because of the so-called believers, the church, the lukewarm church that refuses the Sabbath, that refuses to honor the Hebrew feast days, that refuses to obey the word, to love our neighbor as ourselves, to take care of the poor and the widow and the fatherless. Florida itself is filled with a bunch of Messianic Jewish churches that are playing games. They don't they don't even know who Yahshua is. They're playing games. It's like a Jewish fad type thing where, you know, they will, and I know this, I've seen this at Messianic Jewish congregations where they kind of, you know, they'll dress the part on Saturdays, but then they'll go out and violate the Sabbath and, you know, eat out on the Shabbat, or they'll go and, you know, do this or that, or they won't really be living a holy life. They'll be, you know, dabbling in sin or whatever. I've seen that at a congregation right here in Portland, and actually in more than one. So I know what goes on in a lot of these so-called Messianic Jewish congregations. The whole point of the movement was to return to the purity of the Word, to obey the Torah, the Scriptures, the Word, out of a love for the Messiah, out of a love for Yahshua, to obey His instructions, to please Him, and to bless others around us. But that has largely been ignored. And of course, the church in general as a whole is lukewarm and just filled with sin. And so it's like, here it is, 2017, the Jubilee year. He said enough's enough. And it's, you know, He sent Harvey. Now He sent Irma. There's another one that looks like it's forming behind this, Jose. And then there's Katia in Mexico. There's the 8.1 earthquake that hit Mexico down south. There's the ashes that have consumed Oregon. I mean, it's like, it's just over and over and over. Yah is saying, why won't you obey me? For the very earth will cry out against you and testify against you, America, because you refuse to obey me. You refuse to walk in my ways. You refuse to do what I've told you to do, to walk humbly, to love mercy, to seek His judgment, to do His will. You refuse it, America. I even had a lady earlier that was really upset with my last prophetic message last Friday night, because she said, hey, you know, there's a bunch of us who are keeping Sabbath and doing what's right. You know, how dare you say this about America? Excuse me. If half the people who claim to love Yah were really standing and being the salt and light, this nation wouldn't be heading into the wickedness that it's been heading in, not just for years, but for decades. Okay? So you can't pull the wool over Yah's eyes. And He's making it loud and clear. The name Irma, you know, a lot of people have been saying, oh, it means war goddess. Yeah, it does come down to that Irmine, that word. But the name Irma in Germanic, the Germanic language, is universal, or the world system. Yah is tearing down. He's going to tear down the world system. He'll use Satan and the Antichrist to do it. That's what the whole Great Tribulation's about. But we're not even in the Great Tribulation at this point. He is shaking, shaking, shaking. Are you going to turn to Him? Are you going to love Him? Are you going to obey His word no matter the cost? Are you going to stand up for Him and prove that you love Him, not just with words, but also with deeds? That's what Yahshua, the Holy One of Israel, that's what he's looking for. A holy and spotless bride. And he's going to get it one way or the other. This is Daniel John Lee with Torah Restoration Ministries. Website is spiritandtorah.com. Shabbat Shalom.